should do it. Set a course for the Hotari system. Prepare to go to Warpaint.
Hi, Captain.
Yeah,
You know what? You take this one.
Me?
Engage, Sturz. Very cool.
Engage.
Simple, but effective. Whoa. Careful.
Thank you. I'm fine. Really,
You don't look fine.
I have to get to sickbay.
Go.
Commander, help me get her inside.
Ja, die fehlt was, ne? Was sie braucht. Genau, was sie braucht.
Well, that was quite a scare. A few minutes more and it would have been one of the shortest tenures on record for a first officer.
Is that the engineer that was out on the hull?
That storm did a real number on her, but she'll live. Just needs rest. You should worry about yourself. Your duridium levels got dangerously low and destabilized your cell structure.
This is definitely one of the more memorable first days I can think of.
My name is Dr. Aram Duval, Chief Medical Officer. To be honest, I've never met a Kobliad before. You're...
Rare. I know.
I was going to say special. Your people's numbers have dwindled, despite the Federation's efforts to find a more readily available alternative to the duridium you need to survive. Yet you joined Starfleet, and managed to thrive. I imagine the responsibility must be overwhelming. Maybe even a burden at times.
I know what it means. And I know the responsibility that comes with it. But I can't be anything more than who I am. And if someone has a problem with that, or expects something else, then that's their problem, not mine.
That's exactly right. And don't worry, I won't treat you like a science experiment. I just do the science and leave the experiments to Solano.
You don't agree with his methods?
I don't agree with his definition of acceptable risks. Not when the lives of your crew are at stake. My professional opinion is that the accident took a toll. More than he's willing to admit. He's overstressed, operating in the pressure cooker of his own mind. Which is never a good headspace when the lives of your crew are at stake. What concerns me is that now he's even further away from the thing he's been chasing his entire career. Breakthrough discovery. The major innovation. Something he can put his name on. The more the time passes and the further out of reach it gets, the more risk he'll be willing to take. People become blinded by their own ambition. I've seen it happen before.
I hear you. But that's my job, isn't it? To make sure that doesn't happen. And we don't lose sight of the bigger picture.
Which is exactly why I'm so glad you're here. We need you now more than ever. And I have to give you credit for what happened on the bridge. It took guts to defy a direct order.
Huh. I guess word travels fast around here.
It's a small ship. And everyone's curious about the new XO. Fortunately, your cell structure's almost completely stabilized. And I'll spare us both the lecture, but I do feel it's my responsibility to remind you, without regular infusions of Duridium, you will not live. It's as simple as that.
Understood.
Then, my work here is done.
Ich will mit der Frau reden, die verletzt worden ist. Nicht rausgehen. Bleib da. Wie soll ich dafür noch mal reden mit dem?
Sorry, I didn't mean to be lurking outside of sickbay. I didn't want to intrude, so it felt more appropriate to wait out here. We were all worried about you. Or I should say I was. I wasn't sure what was happening at first. But then I realized it was your condition.
I don't want anyone to worry about me. I'm gonna be just fine. This is part of who I am, but I've never let it define me.
I get that now. And I promise I'll try not to let being such a jerk define me either. You trusted my intuition earlier, with the deflector pulse. I felt I should thank you for that.
Well, thank you for coming. Even though you didn't have to.
I wanted to.
Sonst will ich ja mit der Frau sprechen, die verletzt worden ist. Das ist ein Handschiff.
Complete the diagnostic sequence, and this shuttle will be cleared for service.
Yes, sir.
Storm in the Hotari region will interfere with our transporters, so we need all available shuttlecraft in working order.
Excuse me, Commander Trobach.
Petty Officer Maris, I will leave you to your work.
I stopped by sickbay and saw Nilly. I figured you'd want to know.
Did the doc get her fixed up?
She's stable. There's something about the storm's radiation that's making it hard to heal the energy bursts.
That doesn't sound good.
She's toughing it out. Dr. Duval said she'll be back on duty soon, though.
Come on. I have to run the final diagnostic.
I can't stay long. I've got a long to-do list before we get to Hotari, and things are piling on faster than I can check them off. We're making all our last-minute checks and security, too. Tactical and security are short-staffed.
Well, nothing's ever 100%. But we'll be good to go.
And if you wait until you are ready, it's probably too late. Which is why I didn't want to wait for just the right time. I had a chance to think about this while I was away. Then you and Nilly almost got killed out on the hall. And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you. Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse.
This is just a guess, but you like me. Is that what this is?
How'd you know? Must have been pretty obvious. Which is funny because it kind of came out of nowhere for me at first.
Well, you know, I was hoping.
I guess that makes this a little easier to say. We've been really good friends for a long time. I want to see if there's more between us than just being friends. Carter?
Are you sure about this?
They're my feelings. Of course I'm sure. I know what I'm asking, which is why I'm being direct. I like you, Carter. And I think there could be something more for us. So, what do you say?
I like you too, Miranda. And I'd like to see where this goes.
Good.
These are uncharted territories.
I'd call it a chemistry experiment.
Mm.
You know, with us.
Inquiring minds are gonna want to know about this, so... Do you tell Nilly, or do I?
I wouldn't worry about that.
Level 1 diagnostic complete.
I have to get back to that to-do list. They're probably looking for me.
Well,
Can't blame them.
I'll be seeing you.
Passt.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Oh,
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
müssen sie mal die... Ja.
Shield integrity holding. We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types. I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Oh,
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer. We won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam.
Traktorbeam,
Pull
genau.
them directly into the
Traktorstrahl.
docking bay.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
Come on, Diaz. First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation. We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it. That's
Ja.
gonna take out the shuttle. Here's the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it. Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17, 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Got it.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Auch geschafft.
on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Sag ich doch, Spock.
Terra firma.
Ich wusste es doch, dass Spock das ist. Ich wusste es.
Ambassador Spock.
Ich wusste, dass es Spock ist. Hab ich am Anfang schon gesagt, das wird Spock sein.
The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
So logisch.
Well, let me be the first to say, welcome to the Resolute, Ambassador.
Thank you, Petty Officer.
Carter? Carter Diaz. Sir.
I am pleased to meet you, Petty Officer Carter Diaz. It appears I have you to thank for my safe arrival. Your assistance arrived not a moment too soon.
You're very welcome, sir. I'm glad we could get you here in one piece.
Indeed. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that?
Sekunde, ich will ganz kurz mal was ändern, weil meine Kamera ist zufällig zu groß. Ja. Bisschen kleiner ziehen, so. Das ist besser, glaube ich. Viele Leute kennen ihn schon, wie man sieht. Und Spock. Wo ist Spock? Da fehlt noch einer. So. Hey. Continue. Ne, toll. Ich hab's rausgegangen.
Terra firma, so to speak.
Ambassador Spock. The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
Well,
let
me be the first to say, welcome to the Resolute, Ambassador.
Thank you, Petty Officer.
Carter? Carter Diaz. Sir.
I am pleased to meet you, Petty Officer Carter Diaz. It appears I have you to thank for my safe arrival. Your assistance arrived not a moment too soon.
You're very welcome, sir. I'm glad we could get you here in one piece.
Indeed. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
Sure.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? when all indications say that warp speed is possible. But in practice, we find it is not.
I'd rather investigate than speculate.
A sound principle.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer Diaz. Thank you.
Ambassador Spock,
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
Guten Eindruck gemacht bei Spock. Na dann geht's doch. Eine Provokation zum Krieg. Klingonen? Oder mal gucken. Wer?
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
We're all curious about the future, Ambassador. Specifically, what exactly are we getting involved in here?
We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Illydia and Hotari. Illydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago.
Lydian? Kenne ich gar nicht, Lydians.
This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Illydians have shared a mining operation there.
Lithium.
The Illydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Illydians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant.
Also in 2 Stunden sind wir noch
Communications
eine
between
Pause.
all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
What are the Hotari defensive capabilities? Do they stand a chance to hold on to the mines now that they've taken them?
It is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would prevail against the Illydian fleet in open war. But it would have been equally unlikely to predict they could take possession of the mines until they did just that, which leaves many unanswered questions. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
That is correct.
If we could convince them, it would restore the peace. But we would need the Hotari to accept a difficult compromise.
Made all the more difficult by the emotions flaring on both sides, no doubt.
Neither the Illydians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Illydians as a source of dilithium.
Hallo, willkommen zu Star Trek.
That certainly changes things.
Resurgence.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
That means the Hotari have no reason to trust us.
I wouldn't go that far, Commander.
We are completely neutral in this matter, on neither one side nor the other. Any suggestion otherwise would compromise our position. Given the Federation's involvement in the Iridium dilithium trade,
Mal gucken, was ich wieder starten kann normal. Play. So. Und ich gucke, ob ich das anders machen kann. Andere Antwort geben kann. Versuchen wir mal, ob was anderes geht. Weil ich wollte schon gerne mit Spock in einer Meinung sein, weil ich denke mal, wir müssen Frieden da irgendwie hinkriegen, auch wenn sie nicht Verbündete sind. Ne? Wollte ich mal so sagen. Schauen mal, was sie vorschlagen.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
Your experience comes from the past. But our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet.
Hallöchen, Hallöchen, hallo. Ich soll gerade erst lesen, dann geht's weiter. Hallo. Vielen Dank. Thank you for the following, Grace. Thanks. Hey. Hey there. Grace. Welcome to Star Trek. Resurgence, I think. Welcome. Great, and you? I hope you get also great. I played this game the first time. It's like a Telltale game. You have many choices, bad and good choices, and you can be friends or enemies build with peoples on the ship. And this thing what you say to them. We have many of this. One left. Look. Nice to hear that you're good.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour.
Thank you for the follow.
Lydia and Hotari.
So that I do not say so much, but in the game it's speaking so much that I'll break.
It is rich in dilithium, and for decades.
Oh, great! Between 3 and 5 viewers this time.
While the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace until recently.
Sometimes 8 to 10 viewers.
Forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Ilidians from their system.
Yeah, nice. I have also 1,100 followers, more than 1,100, but not all of them are active.
Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
Have the Ilidians retaliated against the Hotari? Or taken any action against them?
Surprisingly, they have not yet responded in kind. They were open to a Federation presence.
Yeah, it's not so many. I'm a little streamer this time. I hope I get bigger than over 2,000 in 2 or 3 years, I hope, but I don't know.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Sure, you can say whatever you like.
Have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
That is correct.
We can call it profitable or mutually beneficial, but At the end of the day, the Hotari are still being exploited for
Oh,
their
you
own
can say
resources.
something.
True peace is not merely the absence of war. And as such,
Oh,
this conflict
one
will
day
surely come again.
will be a big streamer. I hope so also. I stream 6 years on Twitch and 8 years on
There
YouTube.
is an additional
And
complicated
there I have
factor
not
of
so many followers
In
for
the
this
past,
time.
The Federation has relied on the Illidians as a source of dilithium.
VFX auch, huh?
That
Nice.
certainly changes things.
Federation sources its
that is
dilithium from a lot of
with
places.
us.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
We could use that as leverage with the Illidians. They'll want the Federation to continue buying from them.
There might be something.
I have also one one man that make graphics for me, and I make my own graphics, like the graphics in here, what you like see in the left corner
Worries me
under
is
the
if
video,
this whole thing unravels and we're at the
and many
mercy of
more.
a storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Logos, I have also logos.
To our ship, and the ambassador
Like, one moment. I have one logo while I make many retro games. That's this one. What was made for me while I made many retro games. And then I have a retro TV on the back. Also.
We have to
And
admit
some
the
other
Illidian fleet
things.
has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But they have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
That may answer why the Hotari were able to strike back after so long. They finally had an opportunity and they took it.
That would also explain the Illidians' restraint.
And reason to learn as much about the energy anomaly as we can while we are here. We do
Yes,
not
I have
want
made
to cause
my own
disadvantage
customized logo.
of our own.
I have it, make it our own.
So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions.
Okay.
Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could
Das
lead
Secret
to
machen, also Geheimagent machen.
She certainly goes her own way. Maybe that helps in this case. It would be unconventional, but I'm not opposed to it.
I'm honored to be included in the negotiation process.
You're not
Are you
just
interested in any
you are instrumental.
of the stuff
Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened.
which I
Will
made
through official diplomatic
mention?
channels.
Sure, but this time I don't need new things. My things are okay so long, but I will make a change in my channel